Welcome to Pulse, the Cheetah Product Podcast. I'm Patrick Tripp, SVP of Product Marketing.
Nick Einstein, Senior Director of Product Marketing.
We're excited to join you for episode 11 of Pulse to talk about the CDP Market Part 2. Nick, excited to dig in.
Very much looking forward to it. Let's get to it.
All right. Welcome back to Pulse, episode 11 with Nick Einstein. Nick, great to have you back again.
Great to be here, Patrick.
Thanks, Nick. Well, in March 2020, we did our first episode of Pulse, and here we are a year later, episode 11, starting to get some momentum. Still talking about the CDP market, so a lot has evolved, but we always kick off with talking about music and what's resonating out there. And Nick, it was about a year ago, we were talking about Jazz Fest and whether we're going to head out to New Orleans for that, and that's been rescheduled. But what's really evolved in the music world for you?
Yeah, well, I am happy to report that Jazz Fest is happening again this year. It's going to be in October, not in April and May, but I'm gearing up for that. In the interim, did just get my first Tipitina's Record Club release,
Nice.
Which is Professor Longhair from 1973, recorded by the founder of Jazz Fest in 1973. Good stuff. I'm looking forward to October. How about you, PT?
Yeah, I'm a sax player, so I love to hear about these stories. And of course, I have some bands that I love from the New Orleans area, like Galactic or Papa Grows Funk. So it's great to hear it all starting to come back again. But
good times.
Yeah, more to the topic at hand is the CDP market. Let's talk about it. Part 2. There's a lot happening out there, and maybe you can start by grounding us, Nick, around the definition of the CDP market or CDP solutions.
Yeah, for sure. And the CDP Institute defines a CDP, a customer data platform, as packaged software that builds unified, persistent customer profiles accessible to other systems, including primarily first-party data and known individuals. That's kind of the baseline there. And as you well know, a lot of people have globbed onto the CDP label, and the landscape is still pretty confused.
Yeah, definitely. The CDP Institute's obviously done a lot of work here to clarify it, but there are a number of other vendors out there that are talking about this, whether that's Gartner, that's Forrester, or Real Story Group. And they have some articles that have come out recently, one in November, talking about how the big Martech vendors still lag the market in the CDP landscape.
Big time. And I think they applied the label before they had the tech in place, but a lot of people, like to kind of ride that wave of CDP notoriety. But again, the functionality, especially from those big kind of cloud vendors, is lagging, the competition big time. A lot of new entrants in the space around from the cloud vendors, Adobe with their real-time CDP, Salesforce, which we'll get into with Tony, just Evergage and their native customer 360 audiences, Zeta with their CDP Plus, which I'm not sure is any new technology, but kind of labels on existing technology. It's a lot of people are kind of packaging technology to seem like a CDP.
Yep, definitely. We're seeing that through a lot of venture funding as well. Companies like Blue Shift or Telium and others are still evolving. But Gartner's really kind of taking a stance on this in terms of their hype cycle, and they do that every year. And their Martech hype cycle shows CDP moving down into the trough of disillusionment, right?
Right. And they showed them kind of on just starting to move down last year, and this year they're further down the trough. For sure, for a variety of reasons. And it's interesting, I think a lot of marketers have data problems, have problems integrating their first-party data, and so they reached for CDPs, and many of them are better suited to kind of other use cases than marketing. And so many of them, I think, have realized solutions that are either, too complex and sophisticated to even get live for marketing purposes, and many are kind of too simple and offer kind of not enough to achieve what they need to with their use cases. So it is interesting how they're kind of further down that trough enlightenment, but still receiving funding. Again, marketers struggle to use their first party data to their best benefit.
Yeah, as we call it, first and even zero-party data that you truly want to, use for engagement with consumers, data that they truly want to share with the brand. But it's not only the technology, right? It's also the commercials and the packaging. And there's another great article from the Real Story Group that just came out in February about Salesforce's approach to CDP pricing, right?
Wow. Yeah. And Tony really calls them out there. If you're an enterprise looking to use Salesforce for your customer data platform, you're going to be paying millions and millions of dollars a year to leverage just not all of the profiles you have to use. So their pricing seems out of whack with the value, and the value isn't great. Tony's calling out that they're cobbled together solutions and not necessarily. I think his exact quote is, "It's a work in progress." Yeah. At Salesforce. So
yeah, whether it's 45,000 records or however many records, having worked in this space for a few different vendors, and I can tell you it's a little bit misaligned to what you see with enterprise solutions. And of course, there's a lot of ways to think about it, right? Whether it's a profile, is it anonymous or known profile? Is it active or inactive, or is it unique? But regardless, I feel like that commercial approach is going to need to be reinvigorated. But speaking of CDPs, I mean, who is the real CDP, right? Will the real CDP please stand up to kind of quote Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers? Well, the CDP Institute does have an evaluation. They do a very rigorous sort of consultative project where they actually go through and they evaluate your software, they evaluate your go-to-market, and they in very depth look at all the capabilities. And that's something that for folks that want to learn more and really understand, separate the wheat from the chaff, you can go to that CDP Institute, learn about the real CDP. They do 5 things they really focus on, right? First, ingest data from any source. Second, capture the full detail of ingested data. Third is store ingested data indefinitely, subject to privacy. Then create unified profiles of individuals. And then last, share data or deliver or execute based on any system that needs it. Yeah, so that's really where we see CDP going, and I feel like if you want to really understand where the rubber hits the road and understand what vendors can really handle the real workloads that some of the enterprise B2C vendors need, then that's your place to go. And for us, it's more than just a data platform. It's more than an IT environment. It's an engagement data platform. And I think engagement data platform is built for marketers, right? It's a marketing-centric system that allows marketers to go in, manage data, derive insights from the data, even drive models, right? Be able to build models and train models and deploy models, and also execute and deliver messages in real time from that platform wherever you are. And I think that's really what sets an engagement data platform apart from what we've seen as some of these niche providers.
Absolutely. Common data model, natively integrated to systems of activation. That's what gives marketers power to act on the key use cases they need to drive their business. It's
and a
differentiator.
It really connects into an end-to-end customer engagement strategy that goes well beyond just the data, right? Or just being able to manage the data. I think it's about systems of insight, as Forrester will tell you, right? Creating that single central view of the customer and being able to derive insights, but then also being able to personalize based on that. The next generation of personalization is about delivering real-time moments, right? Based on things that consumers need. And then that third piece is systems of engagement, right? Being able to find those right channels, those right touch points, those right locations to engage and activate and capture more data, I think is the broader picture that marketers should be thinking about.
Absolutely. And all that power in the marketer's hands, not relying on IT or marketing ops or others to kind of execute on that. So it's
it's all about making marketers successful, and that's what we do here at Cheetah Digital. So Nick, it's great to have you on for another episode of Pulse. This year, they're going to be a little snappier. We'll try to keep them around 10 or 15 minutes. You'll find a lot more from us coming up this year. So thanks all for watching, and we'll talk soon.
Good stuff. Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks.